Meet some of Oregon's courageous smoke jumpers. Northwest Illustrated, Sunday at 5:30.
Being a teenage mom was very difficult.
Why is it important to have a strong man? Who would want a weak one?
Elizabeth and I were good friends. Our lives changed because my husband became her husband.
The stories you never knew about TV's Glamour girls. A brunette Lonnie Anderson, her rare home movies, Bert's affair, and why she chose to have cosmetic surgery.
It's just a choice you make.
Farrah Fawcett on her ex Ryan O'Neal's battle with leukemia.
He's strong, he's working out.
Shocking photos of the former Angel abused by a former boyfriend. And the day Farrah was almost mugged.
A guy tried to rob me, in a van, pulled a screwdriver on me.
Bo Derek and Linda Evans, how the Dynasty Diva and the Perfect 10 fell in love with the same man.
He was my first love, and it was an amazing 9 years with him.
No wonder everyone was so upset. No wonder my parents were so upset. No wonder there was a warrant out for his arrest for contributing to the delinquency of a minor in statutory rape.
Debbie Reynolds' love triangle with Eddie Fisher and Elizabeth Taylor.
I couldn't find him. And then I did find him, with Elizabeth.
And how the star lost millions and was forced to file for bankruptcy. Then Eddie's next wife, Connie Stevens, twice divorced and a single mom.
I've always had a tough time being taken seriously.
Plus Diane Carroll, her affair with Sidney Poitier, what drove one husband to drive off a cliff, and the abuse she suffered at the hands of another.
He was putting me back in my place, you see. I had stepped a bit too far, and so therefore I deserved the punishment.
E.T. finds out whatever happened to TV's Glamour girls.
This is Entertainment Tonight, the most watched entertainment news program in the world.
Hello and welcome to the weekend edition of Entertainment Tonight as we find out whatever happened to television's Glamour girls. I'm Mark Stein.
And I'm Jan Carl. Ever since she abruptly left Charlie's Angels, Farrah Fawcett has known her share of heartache. Beaten by a boyfriend, her son's close brush with death, and now longtime lover Ryan O'Neal's courageous battle with cancer.
I don't know if, in fact, it's curable, but it's treatable. And he's strong, he's working out, he's fine, I think.
Earlier this year, Ryan was the target of false reports that he only had 48 hours to live. But when the actor first announced he was undergoing treatment for chronic myeloid leukemia in May of 2001, Farrah was quick to express her care, because even though their 17-year romance ended in 1997, the former lovers share the bond of their now 17-year-old son Redmond, who is handling the news fine.
We talked about it, that it's treatable, and I mean, of course he's concerned, he's concerned about me, You won't be in an accident.
Redmond himself caused his parents concern in June of last year when tabloid reports claimed Ryan and Farrah were struggling to keep him off drugs. Farrah later told us her famous offspring may follow in her footsteps and pursue acting.
He knows the difficulties in this business because he's had to suffer through a lot of it already. With a family and with a child, you have to make compromises. In other words, I'm not single and free and self-centered and self-absorbed, like I might have been if I was just, single.
When E.T. spoke with Farrah in 1989, she freely spoke about the way motherhood transformed her. And when Redmond turned 7 years old in 1992, the Charlie's Angels star admitted she could easily become accustomed to domestic life.
I so much look forward to just being at home, doing dinner, doing the dishes, doing homework with Redmond, not having to put on makeup.
Of course, this was a very different image from the sexy 70s pinup girl who posed nude in Playboy twice.
It was the single hardest thing. I think because in acting you expose a lot of yourself.
Right.
But not necessarily with your clothes off. Well, they said we were going to ease into it. I don't know. I think just once your clothes are off, there's no easing into it.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, I can do it. But I had to say to everybody, don't look.
Farrah also made headlines with her marriage to $6 million man Lee Majors. After 6 years, the union ended in a bitter divorce battle. Last year, Mr. Farrah Fawcett, as he was called in court, talked for the first time about the split.
The media scrutiny that you and Farrah had was really unbelievable. Did that lead up to your breakup?
Well, yes, I would say it had a tremendous effect on him. We were together actually 12 years. After being in the business for a while and so long, in 1 year, I think we saw each other 2 weeks. 2 weeks in 1 year, and that's very tough. Even when you're separated, the things are printed in the press. This, what, you know, and then so you think, oh, man, could that be true? No, that's not true. Yeah, then you get the doubts, you get this, and then. But just the fact of not being together, you know, absence does not make the heart grow fonder. You know?
Yeah.
It makes you forget.
Why is it important to have a strong man? Who would want a weak one? What would you do with him? I don't know.
Farrah earned an Emmy nomination for showing her strength in the role of a battered wife in the burning bed.
No, it hasn't happened to me. I've had a couple of things happen where I felt like a victim. When I was doing Extremities in New York, a guy tried to rob me, you know, in a van, pulled a screwdriver on me. And when I was about 7 years old, I was walking home from school and I was pulled into a field, you know, and frightened then.
In 1998, Farrah found herself a real-life victim. She was in a relationship with director James Orr, and after an argument, Orr allegedly threw Farrah against the driveway of his home, beat her head, and attempted to strangle her. An 8-day trial found him guilty of misdemeanor assault.
Since the verdict in the trial, have you had any contact with James Orr?
No.
Yeah, because I knew that was a difficult time.
Yes.
Do you think you'll want to find love again?
I definitely hope I always have love in my life. I'm just open for whatever's going to happen. You know, I feel that I'm on a path now.
But the path led Farrah in and out of trouble. A bumbling visit on the David Letterman show sparked rumors of drug abuse and mental illness. Farrah tried to explain her behavior.
So many things happen, from people being outside going, Farrah, and I kept looking over to the right because I couldn't hear them. I couldn't finish a story because every time I'd start to say something, they'd clap or laugh or, you know, woo, something like that.
Farrah has once again climbed her way out of controversy. The now 55-year-old recently filmed a guest spot on Spin City. And though countless ups and downs prove she's been to hell and back, this former angel still maintains the positive outlook she's had throughout her life.
I think everything in life either, you know, if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. I think life is definitely sweetened by risk. This is just a thing I have, and I have this weird, strange desire to be challenged. Everybody says to me, and it's true, you know, God only gives you so, you know, as much as you can carry or you handle, and I keep going, I got it, all right?
Coming up on Entertainment Tonight's Whatever Happened to TV's Glamour Girls?
Secrets from Lonnie Anderson's past.
I've ruined my life. This is it.
Her mother's death to cancer and the day Bert fell victim to drugs.
Went into a coma, and the doctor said to me, he's not going to make it.
Connie Stevens, from teen scream to beauty queen.
I went to work in my pajamas from the night before, you know, with no makeup on it.
What she does to keep her youthful good looks. Diane Carroll's troubled 9-year affair with Sidney Poitier.
He really wanted a lady who was at home with the children in the kitchen, and that just was not going to work.
Did Debbie Reynolds have a secret battle with alcohol?
She says, you know, I would think the Pope was an alcoholic because he drinks wine. I said, I don't think so, dear.
That's next.
Watson, get this to Fargo, ASAP.
Yes, sir. Get your motor running. Head out on the highway, looking for adventure, and whatever comes our way.
J. Fargo, room 206?
Thanks. And take this to Vegas.
Vegas.
Ford Focus, the only small car on Car and Driver's 10 Best list, 3 years running.
Take off all the pretty things you wear and put on the silkiest thing of all. Caress Moisturizing Body Wash. Its lush lather softens skin. So no matter what you wear, underneath it all, you'll feel even more beautiful. And now Caress comes in new Berry Fusion.
What some people will do for the freshness of laundry dried in the cleanest breeze. Introducing a new scent from Tide, Tide Clean Breeze. Perhaps the cleanest scent you can get without the commute. New Tide Clean Breeze, also available in Downy.
What if you could capture radiance in a bottle? Now you can with an amazing new facial moisturizer from Aveeno. Introducing Positively Radiant Daily Moisturizer. Only Aveeno has an exclusive soy complex proven to soften and even tone, while natural light diffusers give your skin a healthy glow. Let your natural radiance shine through. New Aveeno Positively Radiant Moisturizer. Discover nature's secret for naturally radiant skin.
Welcome back to Entertainment Tonight. Whatever happened to TV's Glamour Girls?
Connie Stevens was still in her teens when she sang her way into the hearts of millions every week in primetime. And 40 years later, she's still on TV. But being 5'2" tall with blonde hair and blue eyes, Connie says it's always been easy for people to underestimate her.
I've always had a tough time being taken seriously. My voice never grew up. And in my next life, I'm going to be 6 foot, or at least 5'7".
Connie Stevens has been earning our respect for more than 40 years. In the early 60s, she was Cricket Blake, photographer, nightclub singer, and part-time sleuth on Hawaiian Eye. The hit series made her a pioneer of sorts.
I was the first independent young female, and I didn't even realize that it was the first time people actually saw a 17 or 18-year-old girl on their own.
Demand for the series was so high, they shot 44 original episodes a year. Compare that to the 22 or 24 episodes per season for today's shows. Connie says she loved every minute.
It was never the money. I only made, when I got a raise, I only made $300 a week. And it was, you know, #1 across the world.
In 1986, Connie told us that being in her teens made Hawaiian Eye an adventure.
I was the baby there, so I went to work in my pajamas from the night before, you know, with no makeup on. And I'd put a picture of Audrey Hepburn up and say, oh, God, I look great this morning, and go to work and have a hell of a lot of fun.
Connie's next decade was far less fun. In 1963, she married actor James Stacey, but that stormy union ended after about 2 years. In 1967, she married Eddie Fisher, who by then had been married and divorced from Debbie Reynolds and Elizabeth Taylor. The couple made a glamorous impression at Hollywood nightclubs, and Connie gave birth to 2 daughters, Jolie Fisher of Baby Bob and actress Tricia Lee Fisher. In a scenario that could only happen in Hollywood, Tricia revealed in one of her first ET interviews that for a time, she didn't realize Carrie Fisher was her half-sister.
When I went to go see Star Wars for the first time, I didn't even know that she was in it. I had no idea. And I didn't even know who she was when I was watching her. And afterwards I saw the thing, I was, oh, wait a minute. This girl is my sister.
Sadly, the marriage to Eddie eventually led to divorce 2 years later. Connie was a single parent for most of the girl's formative years.
I did good on these kids, didn't I?
Eddie admits he hardly ever saw his daughters for years. But in 1996, Jolie, who was then co-starring on Ellen DeGeneres' first sitcom, reunited with him when she arranged a guest starring role for him on the show.
I'm having the time of my life. She's just like her mother.
In some respects, Connie has had thousands of men in her life. She was honored as a tireless performer for the USO. She was a young teen for her first tour during the Korean War. She later entertained our troops many times during the Vietnam War and the conflict in the Persian Gulf.
That experience performing for them it stays with you for the rest of your life.
Career-wise, Connie has sometimes faced a typical problem, lack of significant roles. But she did play Pamela Anderson's mom on Baywatch, and recently she appeared on Fox's quirky comedy Titus, starring as the title character's disturbed mother.
Wait, are you giving up on your mother? All right, I'm ready.
Now in her 60s, Connie is actually enjoying her greatest success with the Garden Sanctuary, a trendy day spa in Beverly Hills, and with the line of skincare products called Forever Spring. She started the cosmetics venture in 1989 with her own money, and it has grossed as much as $25 million in annual sales. Connie quickly became a hands-on manager with input on every detail.
I found myself down there, and then when the astronomical charges for somebody like doing your logo was $10,000 or designing the jar was $20,000, I'd say, I think I'll save that money. So I did it myself.
It's sure a long way from Hawaiian Eye.
Nothing ever came easy, so I'm full-fledged, grown-up.
Connie uses some of those millions to fuel her hobby, collecting sports memorabilia. Her assortment includes boxing gloves signed by Muhammad Ali and a signed Mickey Mantle baseball.
Coming up on Entertainment Tonight's Whatever Happened to TV's Glamour Girls.
Bo Derek and the sex scandal that kept her in exile.
We couldn't come back to the United States. It's a very serious charge.
Why Debbie Reynolds would secretly try to get her husband drunk.
I wanted very much to have his arms around me and have him love me, and that wasn't happening.
Diane Carroll abused by one of her 4 husbands.
There is a pact made between the man who administers the beating and the woman who accepts it and never complains.
That's next.
Vancouver Ford, the big Ford store.
At Vancouver Ford, big means a big overstock of new Fords. It's an overstock so huge that for a limited time, Vancouver Ford is offering up to $10,000 off MSRP on select vehicles just to clear the lot. There's never been a bigger selection or a bigger opportunity to save with discounts of up to $10,000 off MSRP on select vehicles. So hurry to Southwest Washington's biggest Ford store, Vancouver Ford, the big Ford store.
See this face? This is my overworked, stressed-out face. Stop the volcano, save the village. It never ends.
Well, come to Tiki Time at Red Robin, where you can get our signature teriyaki chicken burger with bottomless steak fries. And a chance to win the ultimate vacation, a trip to Tahiti.
This is my chillin' at Red Robin face. Much better, don't you think?
Come to Tiki Time at Red Robin, America's gourmet burgers and spirits.
This summer, experience a movie you never expected.
Hold on!
And an adventure you'll never forget. Time magazine calls it exhilarating. Star Wars Episode 2. This party's over. Rated PG, now playing.
1, 2, 3.
Grand Am GT with the largest engine in its class. More torque than any sedan in its class. The only V6 with Ram Air in its class. And you get all the honors. With $2,500 total cash back or 1.9% APR financing on the Grand Am GT. One drive will show you why most new car buyers who shop a Pontiac buy one. See your Oregon and Washington Pontiac dealer today.
Monday on Entertainment Tonight. The marriage and divorce to Christy Brinkley. The lawsuit over lost millions. Past suicide attempts. The personal pain of rock and roll's piano man.
Still rock and roll with me.
Elvis's grandchildren. 13-year-old Danielle. 9-year-old Benjamin. We have the scoop on Lisa Marie's kids, who are the spitting image of the king. Then, protein, no protein. Exercise, no exercise. From Dr. Atkins to Suzanne Summers.
I tried Weight Watchers, Nutrisystem, Jenny Craig, Suzanne Summers, and then once it's over, I slowly gained the weight back.
A&E's investigation into the diet gurus who are turning the battle of the bulge into a $40 billion a year industry. That's Monday.
Debbie Reynolds is among Hollywood's unsinkable stars, having survived bankruptcy, allegations of alcohol abuse, and a husband who dumped her for Elizabeth Taylor.
Well, Elizabeth and I were good friends when we were 17, 18, 19, 20, blah, 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 blah. And then, of course, our lives changed because my husband became her husband. Naturally, that does change things.
It was the news that shook the nation in 1959. The marriage of America's sweethearts was over, and Debbie was cast as the victim in Hollywood's most scandalous love triangle. The singer had ditched his girl-next-door wife for the grieving widow of one of his best friends.
I really owe Elizabeth a favor for breaking that whole situation, but I don't blame her for the break. I blame Eddie for the break.
I left Debbie long before there was any magic between Elizabeth and myself.
The he said, she said stories about Eddie, Debbie, and Elizabeth have fascinated for more than 40 years, and with good reason. By the time Fisher married Reynolds in 1955, he had racked up 24 gold records and was a major TV star. She was a former Miss Burbank who parlayed her title into a movie contract. Thanks to musicals such as Singing in the Rain, Debbie was hailed as America's sweetheart. The birth of their daughter Carrie in 1956 and their son Todd in 58 delighted the fans. Then in 1959, the fantasy began to unravel. Eddie's best friend, Mike Todd, had been killed in an airplane crash. His widow, Elizabeth Taylor, was devastated. Since she was a close friend, both Debbie and Eddie offered their emotional support. Unfortunately, Eddie's comfort became adultery. Debbie was the last to know.
Then I went to a dinner party, and everybody was sort of whispering, you know, like, does she know? Do you think she knows anything about it? And I wanted to know what they were whispering about, but nobody would tell me what they were whispering about, so finally I figured it was about me. So I just called him to ask him in New York, but I couldn't find him. And then I did find him, you know, with Elizabeth.
The scandal shocked Eisenhower-era America. Decades later, Eddie says the heat he shared with Elizabeth was just too great to deny.
We didn't care what the world said. Love and to be together forever, every day, never out of each other's sight.
What the public never knew was that Eddie and Debbie's marriage was, in fact, troubled. Reynolds describes herself as sexually innocent and naive when they married. Their love life lacked passion.
Well, I didn't really have anything to compare it to, so I don't know if it was the novel I read, where it says bells go off and things are supposed to happen, you know, that are really wonderful inside. That didn't happen, but it must not have happened for him either.
Debbie revealed that after Carrie was born, she even encouraged Eddie to drink a little too much sometimes in hopes he would make love to her and she could have a second child.
And if it took 2 beers or 3 beers or whatever amount of beers to make that moment happen, that was all right with me. I didn't feel I deserved to be treated that way, and I didn't understand it. It was very hard for me to have rejection. I wanted very much to have his arms around me and have him love me, and that wasn't happening.
Years later, Debbie and Elizabeth would put that painful period behind them and renew their friendship.
After she got a new husband and threw him out, we actually had a discussion about it, and that's over 30-some years ago. And now I think, you know, you move on in life. It seems that the men leave and the women stick together.
But Debbie seemed to possess an uncanny knack for choosing the wrong man. A second marriage to businessman Harry Carl ended after 12 years, with him gambling away both of their fortunes, which Debbie estimates at about $30 million. In 1985, the star married real estate developer Richard Hamlet. Together, they bought the Debbie Reynolds Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. Then, in 1990, talk began to circulate that Debbie had a problem with alcohol. The stories were fueled by the book and subsequent movie Postcards from the Edge. Written by her daughter, it was a fictional account of Carrie's struggle with drug addiction. The mother bears many similarities to Debbie, but Debbie says not the character's alcohol abuse.
It upsets her that I can have a glass of wine and go to a party and not be bothered by it and don't drink at all unless I want to. It's hard for anyone to understand that. She laughs because she says, you know, I would think the Pope was an alcoholic because he drinks wine. I said, I don't think so, dear. It's just really tough for someone that has a personality that is addictive to understand other people that can party. It's very hard for them.
By 1994, Debbie's third marriage was over, and once again, there were financial woes. In 1997, the star was forced to file for bankruptcy, having sunk millions into the hotel, which also served as a museum for Debbie's vast collection of Hollywood memorabilia. But Debbie proved her resilience once again. At the suggestion of daughter Carrie, Albert Brooks cast Debbie in his 1996 film Mother. It had been 25 years since she'd had a lead role in a feature film. The comeback garnered the performer a Golden Globe nomination. Today, the 70-year-old continues to perform. Fans of Will and Grace know Debbie in the recurring guest role as Grace's mom.
She also gives inspirational lectures on how to survive life's ups and downs. And as for retiring and enjoying her golden years,
Well, I'll have time to slow down when I'm dead.
Coming up on Entertainment Tonight's Whatever Happened to TV's Glamour Girls.
Dynasty star Linda Evans and the failed romance that left her in tears.
Just a second. You don't expect that to happen, all right? All right, just 1 second.
Lonnie Anderson and allegations that she was battered by Bert.
The abuse was only because of the drugs.
And the bitter way she found out her marriage was over.
The doorbell rang, and it was a lawyer who said I was being served with divorce papers.
The day Diane Carroll found out she had a tumor in her breast.
I said, what did you say? You said the word malignant. And he said, yes, I did.
Her lumpectomy treatment and why a friend told her to keep her cancer a secret.
That's next.
Hey, I guess somebody's had a busy day today. Well, make sure back pain doesn't cramp your schedule tomorrow. Grab a new Thermacare air-activated heat wrap before you hit the sack. It gets warm and stays warm, deeply relaxing tight muscles. So circulation flows in, helping pain flow out. So, by the next day, you're moving and grooving. Oh yeah, all day long. Introducing Thermacare heat wraps. Find them in the pain reliever aisle.
Hidden Valley is coming to the Dallas Farmers Market, asking folks, how do you like your ranch dressing to taste?
Good hit of flavor when you take that first bite.
Like Hidden Valley ranch dressing.
Creamy, delicious, spices that are really good.
It goes good with everything.
Nothing else compares. Yeah, it's my favorite, absolutely.
This is the real McCoy.
Hidden Valley ranch dressing. We made it first, we made it right.
That's what ranch dressing is supposed to taste like.
Hidden Valley Ranch, the way ranch is supposed to taste.
Hundreds of movies, millions of emotions. Star Super PAC. More new hit movies than HBO or Showtime. Call 1-800-SUPER-PAC.
There's so much beauty to drink in. Don't let your eyes feeling dry, gritty, irritated stop you from enjoying it. Your eyes deserve better. They deserve Refresh brand eye drops. They're what doctors recommend most. First Refresh relieves and soothes dry eyes, then forms a lasting shield of protection that keeps irritation out and natural moisture in. And since more doctors recommend Refresh, the choice is clear. Refresh for relief that's fast and protection that lasts.
Complete lives need Olay Complete. No other leading moisturizer offers a more complete combination of sheer moisture, sun protection, and now vitamin C and more vitamin E. It makes beautiful skin child's play.
My employer, a supermodel, thinks if it's expensive, it's quality. Not being nouveau riche myself, I buy all. Her T-shirt looks as good as new, which may or may not be a good thing.
welcome back to the weekend edition of Entertainment Tonight as we find out whatever happened to TV's Glamour Girls. With her groundbreaking role on the hit series Julia, Diane Carroll became an inspiration to women of color.
But the actress's personal life was marked with more tragic milestones, including an illicit affair, abuse, and a battle with breast cancer.
We all think, oh, it's not going to happen to me. It's not going to happen to me.
In 1998, what was not going to happen did. And Diane Carroll vividly remembers the call from her doctor.
I said, what did you say? You said the word malignant. And he said, yes, I did. I said, I'll have to call you back. I'm not ready to accept this at this moment.
Thanks to early discovery, surgery and radiation would leave her cancer-free. One celebrity friend advised her not to talk about it lest it hurt her career. But Diane wanted to shout.
And I'm feeling so positive and good about that I want to say to everybody, go, have your mammogram.
Miss Diane Carroll.
Her career, which began in the mid-1950s, earned her a Tony Award, an Oscar nomination in 1975, 3 Primetime Emmy nominations, plus a Golden Globe for Julia in 1969.
I was thrilled to be the first black woman who had her own first television show.
But bigots would send hate mail, and criticism also came from those who thought the show didn't go far enough.
There were those who criticized us greatly for being not representative of the black community. We were not in the business of making a documentary about the black community. We were making a television sitcom.
The pressure took its toll.
I went to the hospital twice, nervous, let's say just nerves.
It was around that time that Diane says she was abused by a man in her life. She would blame herself.
Doesn't it have the feeling that I was guilty about the success? He was putting me back in my place, you see. I had stepped a bit too far, and so therefore I deserved the punishment.
In her autobiography, she says her second husband would also strike her. Diane says therapy helped change her life.
I learned a great deal about the attitude of the female that allows that to happen in a relationship. Once the beating has taken place and you do nothing about it, there is a pact made between the man who administers the beating and the woman who accepts it and never complains.
She has been married 4 times, most recently to singer Vic Damone, whom she divorced in 1996. But it was her lengthy affair with Sidney Poitier in the 1960s that earned headlines. Both left their spouses, but never wed. Diane says Poitier couldn't handle her career.
It was not a part of his upbringing. It was not a part of his needs in a partner, and it played havoc with us at all times. He really wanted a lady who was at home with the children in the kitchen, and that just was not going to work. At that point in my life, I just could not think of giving up my career. I didn't know what else to do. I didn't know what other me there was. One day my mother looked at me and she said, "What is going on between the two of you? It's like an illness." And I thought that was the perfect phrase for what happened between Sidney and I for a 9-year period. We just could not seem to rid ourselves of this. And fortunately for both of us, we were able to walk away from it eventually.
In 1973, she broke her engagement to TV host David Frost. But by 1975, she had taken husband number 3, Robert De Leon. She was 40, he was 25. The marriage was shaky from the start, and less than 2 years later, he died when his car went off a cliff.
I think dealing with the death of Robert was a growing period that was extremely painful, and I'm very happy that I went through it. It was the first time in my life I confronted myself, and I said, you know what you really need to know how to do, Diane? You need to know how to live alone. Constantly, all of my life, I went from one relationship to another relationship to another relationship. There's so many of us in the world who have that problem. We don't want to face it, but that is what it's all about. It's because we don't want to be alone.
In 1984, she joined the cast of Dynasty as the scheming Dominique Devereaux. She had approached Aaron Spelling about creating the part just for her.
Well, I said to them, you need me, because I think a new voice, a new thought, a new idea would be really wonderful, and I'd like to see the show integrated. The show should be integrated.
Today, Diane is single with a 41-year-old daughter, Suzanne, seen here with her mom in 1985. Diane is 66, but still keeps working, either as a singer or as an actress. She most recently played a Supreme Court justice on The Court. Though that show has been pulled after 3 episodes, Diane has no plans to slow down. The idea of retirement, she has said, is frightening.
I just want to be out there all the time. Not only do I need it now, I need it, emotionally I need it, but I think it's something that I probably will need for a long time.
Coming up on Entertainment Tonight's Whatever Happened to TV's Glamour Girls.
The minute my husband and I split up, when I started dating Gary, Bert had people calling me to say, will you go out with me?
Lonnie and Bert, drugs, abuse, and the affair that led to their divorce.
Bert had another woman for almost our entire marriage.
How the former lovers are today. Bo Derek and Linda Evans.
How can anybody dream of this? You know, what has happened to me?
I kept thinking, why don't they know I don't know what I'm doing?
How they both fell in love with the man who would make them stars.
That's next.
Even though Jeep Liberty received the government's highest crash test rating for side and driver front impact, it's still nice to keep a little extra space between you and the next vehicle. Now, qualified returning Daimler Chrysler lessees can get a Liberty for just $249 a month.
This is your appetite talking, and this is a tasty alert. You're not gonna believe this, baby.
Right now, you can get 5 Arby's melts for just $5. All that tender, juicy roast beef.
Surrender to the tender.
Smothered in hot, tangy cheddar cheese sauce.
Cheese me, baby.
5 Arby's melts, just $5. Only for a short time at Arby's.
Give in to your grown-up taste.
Oh, this is Wix Furniture. If you get your furniture home and it's whoa.
Too big, too small?
What was I thinking?
Wix will take it back.
No risk furniture buying, dude.
It's Wix Furniture's big 36-hour store-wide sale featuring Wix fabulous new Lazy Boy collection. Plus, no money down with no monthly payments and no finance charges due for 1 year.
Wix doesn't put the screws to you.
Were there any questions?
Hey, come on, let's go.
Only in Oregon, where millions of dollars in lottery profits go to maintain our state parks year-round. Because to Oregonians, there's no such thing as a bad day at the beach. Lottery games are based on chance and should be played for entertainment only.
The celebration is on. Anniversary time at the Les Schwab side. 50 years all rolled into one great big savings event. Anniversary prices throughout the store. Our best tires on sale. Z800 Ultra, Open Country All-Terrain, Proxys ST, FC4, and Proxys TPT. Plus extra savings on our best battery, shocks, and selected custom wheels. Les Schwab's 50th anniversary sale. Don't miss the savings now at the Les Schwab sign.
Coin.com, your best choice for news.
Welcome back to Entertainment Tonight. Whatever happened to TV's Glamour Girls?
Side by side, they could be sisters, but Linda Evans and Bo Derek have much more in common than their striking beauty. Though they are many years apart, they both fell in love with and married the same man.
They are two women who share a common bond that stretches far beyond the obvious physical similarities they share. For Bo and Linda, the tie that binds is a deeply rooted love connection to the man who was husband to them both, actor-director John Derek.
He was my first love, and it was an amazing 9 years with him.
Linda met John in her early 20s during the time she co-starred in the TV Western The Big Valley opposite Hollywood veteran Barbara Stanwyck. The role was a breakthrough for the young blonde whose acting career began in high school.
My dad died when I was 15, and then I was discovered the same year, and we didn't have a lot of money. It was just such a perfect thing to help my mom out and my family. And it just kept happening. I kept thinking, why don't they know? I don't know what I'm doing.
Commercials and small film and TV roles followed, including a guest shot on Bachelor Father, opposite her future TV husband on Dynasty, John Forsythe. But as Linda's career was taking off, her marriage to Derek began to crumble when the 46-year-old director became involved with a 16-year-old girl he had cast in a small film he was shooting in the Greek islands. Her name was Kathleen Collins, but the world would come to know her as Bo Derek.
We met when I was 16. I look at pictures that John took of me, when I was 17 and we were living in Europe, traveling all over Europe together. And I look and I think, no wonder everyone was so upset. No wonder my parents were so upset. No wonder there was a warrant out for his arrest for contributing to the delinquency of a minor in statutory rape. No wonder. I was so young.
Linda would divorce John, who by then was living abroad with Bo.
We couldn't come back to the United States. It's a very serious charge, statutory rape, and not one you want to mess with. So we lived in Europe until we ran out of money, and then I left him in Tijuana. He was going to live in Tijuana until it was safe.
John eventually returned to the States and married 18-year-old Bo in 1974. 5 years later, she gained international fame and became a cross-cultural icon of perfection with the release of the movie 10.
How can anybody dream of this, what has happened to me, with no working toward it, no, working their way up? It just happened overnight.
She went on to star in Bolero and Tarzan, neither of which set the box office on fire. Meanwhile, rumors which swirled around that she was somehow caught under the spell of an abusive and controlling husband brought her pain.
I hope to the public it's getting very boring, this Svengali thing, and that he abuses me and uses me, and we get very angry and we want to fight it, and then, how do you fight? You can't fight legally. You can only speak back, through the press.
It's very easy to understand. It's very simple. We love each other. Why is that so complex? Why is that such a problem for people to believe?
Bo and John bought a horse ranch near Santa Barbara, where she lived her dream of becoming an accomplished equestrian. Content to be far removed from the Hollywood fast lane, she spent the 80s living the simple life. It was in stark contrast to the life Linda was leading as TV's glamorous good girl, Crystal Carrington on Dynasty.
You bitch, let go!
The wildly popular show lasted 9 seasons, and during that time, Linda's love life rebounded as well. When in 1988, she met a man 12 years her junior, New Age musician Yanni. They were together for 10 years.
I could say that he was the other great love of my life. And the good news is he's alive. And we are friends as well, which I adore. I love that man. I think he's magical.
When Dynasty came to an end, Linda said goodbye to Hollywood and moved to the Pacific Northwest, where she bought what she calls Crystal's Palace, a lakefront Italian-styled villa near Tacoma.
I wanted to be around some real people, and I wanted to not have to live up to any ideal of anything, and just kind of remember what being a real person was like.
In 1998, Linda and Bo, who had become good friends over the years with John's encouragement, were brought together in sadness when he died following heart surgery at 71. Linda's grief was still evident a year later.
Just a second. You don't expect that to happen, all right? All right, just 1 second. There was a sweetness between us and a friendship between us, and he was a very unique man. I mean, truly an irreplaceable man. He was a one of a kind.
Bo, meanwhile, found herself alone for the first time since she was 16. Her marriage to John had defied all the odds, lasting 25 years. She tried to ease the pain by going back to work.
It's a horrible, hideous thing that I've been going through. They say there's a shock period. I guess there is, because otherwise I didn't care. Because right after he died, I couldn't cry, I couldn't even go there to that place. I would start to and I couldn't. Now it's starting to hit me a little bit.
Since then, Bo has done a number of TV shows, written her memoirs and a book called Riding Lessons, and visited American troops overseas with the USO. As for Linda, she spends much of her time as a motivational speaker and advocate for a range of health issues. Looking back, she says she wouldn't change a thing.
No regrets. I'm thrilled. No way.
Coming up on Entertainment Tonight's Whatever Happened to TV's Glamour Girls.
Lonnie Anderson, before the blonde hair, before WKRP, and before her battles with Bert.
That I was no longer fit to teach Sunday school.
We have her home movies and why she left Minnesota and headed straight to Hollywood.
That's next.
Which Oscar winner accidentally left their statuette in the bathroom after winning? Is it Jack Nicholson, Meryl Streep, or Anna Paquin? The answer is coming up later in the E.T. Birthdays.
Closed captioning provided by...
Stop and go to Meineke for brakes and expert auto service you can trust. Meineke, you won't pay a lot, but you'll get a lot.
Don't move, Dad!
Smile and say mermaid.
Mermaid.
Where will you be when your diarrhea comes back? You should have taken Imodium AD the first time. Don't wait till it's too late.
Wedding gifts for high school friend, coworker, and boyfriend sister, $255. Surviving another wedding season, priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For weddings, there's MasterCard.
Wow. Wow. It's not magic. It's Botox Cosmetic. Wow. Worried about losing your wow? Ask your dermatologist or plastic surgeon about Botox Cosmetic. or call for the name of a doctor in your area. It's not magic. It's Botox Cosmetic.
My employer, a supermodel, thinks if it's expensive, it's quality. Not being nouveau riche myself, I buy all. Her T-shirt looks as good as new, which may or may not be a good thing.
The Pure Water filter is so easy to install and use. You already have all the tools you need. Pure Water filters. Your water should be pure.
Hundreds of movies, millions of emotions. Star Super PAC. Up to 12 movie channels for about $12 per month. Call 1-800-SUPER-PAC.
There's nothing better than watching a great family movie. Get a blanket, a pillow, pop some popcorn, and you're ready to go.
We got Hollywood's great movies at Walmart's low prices.
We have a lot of good ones here.
We got Goonies, Gremlins.
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
It's gonna be on TV.
We got Wizard of Oz, one of my favorite movies in the world.
Superman,
Batman, Scooby-Doo.
Mary-Kate and Ashley.
Great movies on video and DVD at everyday low prices.
For great movies, Walmart's the ticket.
Lonnie Anderson is well known for her role as the Beauty on WKRP in Cincinnati and for her rocky marriage and divorce from Burt Reynolds. But E.T. uncovered a very different side to one of television's most famous blonde bombshells.
Being a teenage mom was very difficult because I was starting my life. And so she had to fit in more to what I was doing, going to school, working part-time.
Though we know Lonnie as the mother of adopted son Quentin, these rare home movies show her as a teenage mom to daughter Deidre. She was a Sunday school teacher in Minnesota when she had her child and was separated from her first husband.
My church, I always taught Sunday school and was very involved in my church, had said when I was separated from my husband and was going to get a divorce that I was no longer fit to teach Sunday school. My grandmother, who's no longer living, my father's mother, said, no one will ever want you again. This is ridiculous. No one ever gets divorced because no man will ever want a woman with a child. You will just never have anyone be interested in you. I mean, it was just, there you are, this little teenager saying, I've ruined my life. This is it. Everybody says everything I've done is wrong.
Lonnie divorced her first husband and struck out on her own. She and daughter Deidre formed a tight bond.
I remember a lot of times it just being the two of us, just girl time, that I think sometimes I felt she was more of my big sister than my mom.
Brunette Lonnie changed her hair color and tried to make it as an actress. She didn't get the part on Three's Company that she had auditioned for, but soon got that special role of Jennifer on WKRP in Cincinnati. Stardom came immediately.
One week I was Dee Dee's mother, and the next week Deidre and I went shopping, and all of a sudden there were hordes of paparazzi that jumped out of like the bushes and stuff.
By that point, Lonnie had already married and divorced a second husband and started a romance with co-star Gary Sandy.
He was fabulous. Now, I don't think there's anything more to say.
She's obviously a beautiful woman, and the only macho thing I will say is we have had a great time together.
But that relationship didn't last either. Lonnie decided to date someone else, a certain star she had met earlier and had been impressed by. His name was Burt Reynolds.
The minute my husband and I split up, when I started dating Gary, Burt had people calling me to say, will you go out with me? And I resisted that for almost a year.
She's terrific, except when we leave here. In any direction when we leave here.
Just on the set?
Just on the set.
Burt became husband number 3. They were inseparable, a glittering fixture in Hollywood. But problems simmered beneath that glamorous surface. Lonnie found herself becoming a battered wife, as she related in her book, My Life in High Heels. She says it was because Burt was hooked on prescription painkillers.
I think there are certain levels of abuse. It happened for me very slowly. I blamed the drugs, that the abuse was only because of the drugs. And as soon as we got rid of that, there wouldn't be any more abuse.
Lonnie was now working on a different series called Partners in Crime. Burt was very sick, and then her mother became fatally ill with cancer. A friend stepped in to help her out.
Johnny Carson at that time was so wonderful. He produced our show, and he knew what I was going through and sent his private jet every Friday night, so no matter what hour we finished, I could fly back and be with Mother and be with Bert. And when I lost Mother, then 2 weeks later, I almost lost Bert. He decided, without telling me, to quit the drugs cold turkey because he thought he hadn't been there enough for me during my mother's illness. And he went into convulsions and then into a coma as I was arriving through the door. And we had to take him to the hospital, and the doctor said to me, he's not going to make it.
Bert did make it, and for a while, so did their relationship. They had adopted son Quentin, and things looked rosy. But after 5 years of marriage, their storybook life came to a close.
The doorbell rang, and it was a lawyer who said I was being served with divorce papers. Never discussed, never told anything. I thought I was going back for my second honeymoon, and a plane ticket back to Los Angeles. And Bert had another woman for almost our entire marriage.
That woman was a one-time cocktail waitress named Pam Seals. Even in the midst of one of the most bitter public divorces in Hollywood history, Lonnie tried to reach out to them.
I tried to talk to him. He handed the phone to Pam.
Lonnie and Pam did not get along. In 1995, Bert broke his silence about their battles.
It's very difficult. The one that suffers the most is my son. And I miss him greatly.
Lonnie found her every moment followed by the press, as she told Jan Carl on the set of Pamela Anderson's VIP series.
You've been very open, very candid about the fact that you had 2 breast reductions.
Yes, it's just a choice you make that you hope that it's less obvious and you'll be more in proportion and still enjoy being curvy.
Over the years, the bitterness between Bert and Lonnie has faded, and their 13-year-old son, Quentin, finally brought them together.
He wanted to go to the set and be with his dad, so I drove him to the set, and Bert asked me if I would stay and watch, and we had a lovely afternoon. He was my friend first, and he is my friend again. And he's Quentin's dad, and we have a very nice relationship. It's very nice.
Quentin is now a 7th grader studying French, and recently Bert told us, quote, "The testosterone is like the 4th of July all around." Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Bill Shanley drives the lane. He looks left, goes right, and he sees 0% financing now at Saturn of Beaverton. Get 0% financing for up to 60 months on nearly every new 2002 Saturn. Or you can buy your brand new Saturn with absolutely no money down. Wow, what a steal. Bill takes a shot. Nothing but net. He scores at Saturn of Beaverton, part of the Russ Auto Group, 1 block east of Murray Boulevard on Canyon Road.
RV buyers, the biggest sales event of the season happens this Friday through Sunday in McMinnville. It's the Wine Country RV and Accessories Show, presented by Valley RV Center. Huge discounts on America's best-selling new and used motorhomes, travel trailers, fifth wheels, and campers. There's factory reps, great bargains on RV and truck accessories, informative seminars, free entertainment, lots of food vendors. Best of all, parking and admission are free. The Wine Country RV and Accessories Show, presented by Valley RV Center, Friday through Sunday west of McMinnville on Highway 18. Don't miss it.
Sunday. It's a day for naps. A day to water the lawn. A day to be the Grill King. And a day for Hormel, always tender, fresh pork. Lively lemon and garlic. Fork tender. Makes the day delicious. No matter what day it is. Today's flavor, Hormel.
Facts of Life by Lysol. Fact, Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was full of cold germs. Fact, everywhere that Mary went, Lysol spray killed 99.9% of those cold germs. Life demands Lysol. That's a fact.
It covers the entire Northwest. The biggest Toyota tent event in Toyota history. Our incredible region-wide tent event. We've got you covered with great savings on a huge selection of new Toyota SUVs. Now get super low 3.9% financing on the fun and playful RAV4. Or get an amazing $500 cash back on the SUV that's ready to go anywhere, anytime. Get big savings at our region-wide tent event. See your Toyota dealer now.
very easy, very simple to use.
I love hearing,
You've got mail.
America Online. So easy to use, no wonder it's #1.
During Pearl Vision's 40th anniversary sale, we're taking 40% off every frame, so you can take home a whole new you. Nobody cares for eyes more than Pearl.
For the best service, selection, and value, go to The Source. Brand Source. Brand Source. We're your neighborhood expert.
Monday on Entertainment Tonight. The marriage and divorce to Christy Brinkley. The lawsuit over lost millions. Past suicide attempts. The personal pain of rock and roll's piano man.
Still rock and roll with me.
Elvis's grandchildren. 13-year-old Danielle. 9-year-old Benjamin. We have the scoop on Lisa Marie's kids, who are the spitting image of the king. Then, protein, no protein. Exercise, no exercise. From Dr. Atkins to Suzanne Summers.
I tried Weight Watchers, Nutrisystem, Jenny Craig, Suzanne Summers, and then once it's over, I slowly gained the weight back.
A&E's investigation into the diet gurus who are turning the battle of the bulge into a $40 billion a year industry. That's Monday.
Celebrating an E.T. style star birthday on Saturday, Amy Brenneman turns 38, Tracy Pollan turns 42, Lindsay Wagner is 53, Chris Christopherson is 66, and which Oscar winner accidentally left their statuette in the bathroom after winning? That's Meryl Streep when she won for Kramer versus Kramer. She celebrates number 53.
Blowing out candles on Sunday, Selma Blair turns 30, Frances McDormand is 45, and Brian Brown is 55.
For more details on the celebrities we profiled on this show and for all the Hollywood news, you can click onto our ET website 24 hours a day.
We're going to say goodbye with a preview of our show next weekend when we'll find out whatever happened to your favorite TV stars. Take care.
Bye-bye.
My aunt was the real witch to me, you know, as far as that experience goes, because nothing was ever good enough for her. She was a very demanding, hard woman, and I always had to live up to her expectations. And if I didn't, I would get hit, and hit continuously.
Gotta have fun. If not, might as well lay down and let them throw dirt on you. Always have fun. Worst thing you can do with money is save it. I think that if you make it, you should spend it. Why else do anything if you're not going to have a good time at it? My philosophy was to love, to live, to lose with grace, and to just play the melody.
Compare Ford Escape to the competition, and you'll see that Escape has a V6 engine standard. More horsepower, standard. More towing, standard. And a CD player, standard. So it's not surprising Escape is the best-selling small SUV. And right now you can drive home your own Escape with $500 cash back from your Northwest Ford stores. The best-selling Ford Escape with $500 cash back. It's more SUV for the money.
What Shantae Kimes and her son did to their victims was so shocking, it made headlines across the country. Now,
Trust me.
CBS presents the twisted true story of Shantae and Kenny Kimes.
You'll have everything we ever dreamed of.
Mary Tyler Moore in a breakthrough performance.
See what you made me do.
Gene Stapleton.
I don't like this.
Irene.
Oh!
Like mother, like son.
Pray for me. Pray for your mother.
CBS Sunday.
SOS! It's the Summer of Suzuki sale going on now at Cars Suzuki in Beaverton, where right now you can drive home the red-hot Suzuki Aereo for just $10,995. Cars Suzuki is the largest Suzuki dealer in the Northwest with more than 40 new Aereos to choose from, including 10 for just $10,995. Each loaded with air conditioning, stereo CD, power windows, locks, and mirrors. So hurry to the Summer of Suzuki sale going on now at Cars Suzuki in Beaverton, where salaried salespeople see it your way.
Hey, I lowered my cholesterol. All right. Hello, my cholesterol's down. Hey guys, I lowered my cholesterol.
In case you haven't already heard the news, Honey Nut Cheerios can help lower your cholesterol as part of a heart-healthy diet. And with its sweet honey taste, that ought to make you really happy.
I lowered my cholesterol.
Honey Nut Cheerios. Be happy, be healthy.
Tonight's programming on Coin TV 6 is brought to you by Father Joe's Villages.
Hello?
Jackie,
Mr. President?
I love you.
Lyndon Johnson secretly recorded